I'm stoked to be here. Can't wait to see these kids rip it up. Wee-hoo!
Oh, hey, bro. On this, totally shradical episode of Rad Rot Video, we're gonna, look at the super bodacious backyard skateboarding. I'm not gonna do that the whole time. Welcome back to Rad Rat Video, channel where you can learn new things about skateboarding or just watch me torture myself with terrible games, which is more what we're doing today. This is Backyard Skateboarding, which is part of the Backyard Sport series. You may remember back in the day there was backyard baseball, hockey, soccer, all kinds of stuff like that. In 2004, they made Backyard Skateboarding. Keep in mind, 2004 was the year that Thug 2 came out. So use that for perspective for how good this game could be. But it's not. This game came out for PC and then later for Game Boy Advance. I'm not going to torture myself that bad today. I'm only going to stick to the PC version, but there's still a lot to talk about. You start off by picking your character. You can choose between Andy Mack and some lazy and potentially racist caricatures. Yeah, Andy Mack is in this game. He's been on this channel a couple times. First, when I reviewed MTV Skateboarding with Andy McDonald, and the second time when I did a Retro Rippers video on him. Both cards for these will be popping up in a minute, but I can't put them too close to each other. And he seemed like he was pretty insufferable as a kid, as you'll see if you watch that video. But here he is in this game as a kid, although he didn't do the voice, which I thought was kind of weird. What's even weirder, though, is that there's two different versions of him. So there's the kid Andy Mack, and then there's Retro Andy or something, who's still a kid, but he has a different voice now. And he's in the game too. I'll show you all that stuff in a minute, but let's say you don't want to be Andy McDonald. What are your other choices?
My name is Ahmed Khan.
Hola.
It's cool that they wanted to have some diversity here, but having characters with fake accents doesn't age very well. And your character is constantly talking. It's the worst. I went with the nerd Dimitri because, well, this is basically me as a kid.
Skating is primitive. I prefer hoverboards.
But speaking of the fake accents, the NPCs in the game aren't any better.
Dude, I overslept this morning. I'm supposed to have finished my paper route by now. Could you skate my route and do an ollie and a kickflip on the green circle in front of each house?
Okay, so the game is set up like a do tour type thing, except that it's all backyard and local neighborhood type of locations. The challenges you do are essentially just getting things for people. How this is a competition at all is beyond me. Does this kid set up the Christmas decorations again as soon as you're done for the next kid to try to beat your time or something? Is this a sham? Am I actually helping neighborhood kids? Who's actually behind this? The guy in the blimp, his name is Eric Stream. That's clearly a stage name, right? So is there actually a competition? Am I just doing stuff and this sick freak is filming it because he likes to watch little kids fall over or something like that? What's even happening? The control scheme is keyboard only. Steer with the arrow keys, spacebar ollies, and the C, V, and B keys are grinds, grabs, and flips. It's very uncomfortable. By the time you're used to it, the game will be over. And it actually causes a lot of problems too. Imagine being 8 years old, the target audience of this game, and having to do this special trick. Left, comma, up, plus, grab, comma, grab. What does this mean? The game doesn't explain until the next level, but you can't leave this level until you do the trick, I think. But in this case, it's simple. Hit left, then up, and then double tap, grab. But because this is a keyboard and not a controller, there are no diagonals. So it'll ask you to hit two directions at the same time with a plus sign instead of a comma. It's weird and it's actually more complicated than Tony Hawk. So let's look at the tricks. I can't really complain about them because they're invisibly fast. There's a front side impossible and a back side impossible. What's the difference? I couldn't possibly tell. 360 flips are called 360 varial kick flips, which isn't great, but really anything could be happening in those 5 frames of animation that the trick takes. What possible reason could they have had for doing this? What's the point of even animating all these tricks if no one can even see them? But what about the grinds? The grinds seem okay. I can barely get them to work though. Almost every arrow combination I tried just ended up getting me into a nose grind. You've got the rest of the classics, though, like 5-0s and no slides and Orion's belt, which is clearly just a backside nose blunt. But then again, the front side nose blunt is also a backside nose blunt. Overall, I'd give the tricks about a C-, which seems generous, but you got to compare it to all the other garbage I've played, the real bottom tier stuff like The Simpsons Skateboarding. That game has some real tricks in it, but they renamed them, and then everything else just looks weird. You've got Evolution Skateboarding, where it has pop heels and 5-0 grinds. Those are inward heel flips and 5-0 grinds. You have Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure, which is built on the Tony Hawk engine, but they give every character 2 tricks for some reason. So it's like, yes, this is bad, but there's a lot of real tricks in there, and some of them look like they're supposed to. So it's a passing grade compared to the idiots who made the other games. Oh, and remember Andy Mack? We found him again.
I'm old school, Andy, and I need your help. I've lost my skateboard, and I need you to help me find it. 1 piece in every world, and 5 pieces total. All the HUD arrow.
Oh, I'm going to try to spare you some of the sound effect brutality because it's horrible. That was the sound effect of me rolling, just looping over and over and over, even though I wasn't rolling at that time. There's all kinds of stuff like that. When your special meter is full, or juice meter in this game, which is a lot of the time, there's this really loud heartbeat, just pounding sound effect that plays on top of the whole thing. There's lots of things where your character just repeats things over and over. The announcers from the blimp are just repeating the same things over and over and over. The sound design in this game is abysmal. But it gets even worse than that. Listen to this incredibly monotone character. They have constant noise in the background, like someone brushing off the microphone and cracking their knuckles and coughing.
Ring of sparkles. If you can do it, merry old Englandland will reward you handsomely. What do you think?
Why? I just don't understand why they would make it this way. It's so terrible. You may not have noticed or cared when you were a kid, but you know who did? Your parents. They're trying to argue over credit card bills in the dining room, and meanwhile they have to hear this constant, incessant noise from the other room while you're trying to play a video game. Do you think that's why they don't love you anymore? Probably. Let's get back to the tour. So there are 5 yellow challenges. Beat 3 of those and you'll unlock 5 orange challenges. Beat 3 of those and you'll unlock the boss challenge in red. What happens when you beat that?
Not bad for a rookie. Sure, I'll join your team. Now let's go win the rest of the tour.
You recruit the boss for your team and you get sponsors. So wait, am I joining your team or are you joining mine? How does sponsorship work again? They give you free helmets and gear and stuff like that. And if you don't change your clothes, the announcers will make fun of you.
Dude, you gotta get some new pants, man! Please!
Let's ignore the weird consumerism message of having a game for babies designed around getting free product and sponsorship, and let's just look at the second level. Wait, how do I get to the second level? Guess what, idiot? You have to beat Sally's challenge first. But who's Sally? Is she marked on the map somewhere? What significance does she have? Mind your business, just do it. In his first level, she was last for me. I did every other single challenge and just happened to find her last. She wanted me to find some spatulas that the cooks had dropped in midair. This challenge wasn't special in difficulty or story relevance or anything like that that should keep me from the second level, but it did let me fall through the ground though.
Youch! Adios!
In the next level, I did Sally's challenge really early and jumped straight to the 3rd level on accident without even beating the boss. Later, I had to go back and beat all those challenges I missed so I could go to the moon. Yeah, that's what I think the ending is, but we'll get there. So what are we doing in this level? We're mostly helping child laborers with their job. This little kid needs to paint a railing, so we have to grind on it to scare off the birds. And scaring off birds is a time-honored tradition in skateboarding games, so that's fine. The fact that they have a 10-year-old painting a whole boat by himself isn't so great, though. This little kid is a security guard, and she needs you to get her key so she can open up. And by her key, I mean all 15 of the keys that she needs to open the gate, which she doesn't even use because the door sinks into the ground and disappears. This redneck kid wants to go fishing, and he needs some marshmallows for bait. Don't ask questions, just collect the thing and move on. A lot of the challenges are different variations of this kind of stuff, but I can't complain too much. You're following a line and skating. They aren't reusing assets or characters too much. There's always some kind of twist or comedy angle to it.
Some dumb kids took our latest shoe designs and ran them up the flagpole. Whatever.
But there are some more challenges too. Here's the do the tricks they call out challenge from the second level, and this is where they teach you what the commas and plus signs actually mean. These can get actually kind of tough. The first few tricks are always super easy, but then you get into double taps and diagonals and stuff, and it can sometimes take a few attempts to actually do it at once. But that's more awkward controls than actual difficulty. There are lines too, which is a nice change of pace. In this one I have to grind on the whales and then do 2 laps around the pool. The third level is a rooftop. You raise some flags, you collect laundry, and okay, I'm still a little baffled about how this is a touring skate competition. Does this girl lose her laundry so consistently that they can make an event out of it? I don't know. The hardest challenge is in this level too, where you have to manual. You have to hold it and steer around through these cones and stuff, but I couldn't figure out what the route was for a while. And then I had trouble trying to steer and balance at the same time. It's no switchback challenge in Tony Hawk 4, but it took me... Wait, is it playing a song about skinny britches? It's an instrumental song. I looked it up. And they could have called it anything. I'm pretty sure it was made for this game, which is for 10-year-olds. And they named it after skinny britches. What? Okay, the real unique thing in this level is trying to turn on lights for the helicopters. They are, of course, triggered by skateboards, so you have to do grinds to turn on the helipad lights and the spotlights. One thing I'll say about this game is that it isn't lazy. This is at least a unique set piece that doesn't reappear anywhere else in the game. The next level is a medieval castle, except it's in England town in America. It's home to a jousting challenge. We have to grind on the lance. It's not a terrible idea. You kind of stop dead when you start the grind though, and that's not really right. This level has my favorite joke in it too.
Of the knights of the octagonal table tonight.
Yeah, you get it? It's also got a challenge where you have to collect gears, but they look like video game controllers to me. Whatever. Overall, I think this level is pretty cool. So I've cleared all of the boss challenges except for this last one. If I win this, I will win the championship and I'll get a skate park of my own. So what do I have to do to get the skate park? I'm thrown in the dungeon to defeat the dragon. Yeah, for real. So this theme park has a robotic child-killing dragon locked up in the basement. Luckily, it can be defeated by doing airs over it and collecting diamonds. I should mention, airing over things is really frustrating. They give you these nice arrows to follow, but you couldn't actually take that angle. Once I figured out how to do it, it wasn't that bad.
You did it!
Okay, I think this is the plot. I'm trying to win a skate park for my town.
Thanks for winning the town this terrific skate park.
But who's actually paying for it? Because we've got the sponsors and the championship. Am I getting championship money? But why would I need the sponsors? Are the sponsors going to build it on the condition that I win the championship? But it's for my town, but the skate park is on the moon.
Look at me! I'm on the moon, man!
So, like, my town is on Earth, but I'm winning a skate park that's going to be on the moon. Do people from my town have exclusive rights to fly out there and skate it? Well,
our favorite neighborhood skate team has done it! They won the Backyard Skate Tour and the grand prize, the ultimate skate park skate station ever!
Wait, I was on a team this whole time? Oh, do you mean the team I was recruiting people for who didn't do anything? I really have no idea what's going on with this game. So, I have unlocked this last level, and the ending is to do an ultra rad stunt that will kick off a concert. You might think that the moon would have moon physics or feel like the moon somehow, but it doesn't, and the announcer's blimp still works, so there's air. Wait, is this a moon-themed park with a dome over it, and we're just all pretending? I'm trying my best not to think about it, but I just can't help it. So I collect some alien eggs, which is repulsive, and do band stuff like collect backstage passes and collect drum parts for this racist cartoon.
Dude, man! I told the roadies totally actually set up my drum kit over there.
The level design isn't that bad. There are lots of tracks to grind around, they always make it obvious where you're supposed to go. But before we wrap up this game, you better check in with Andy Mack. He has an unmarked mission in every level where you can collect a different part of his board. I only did one of them though, but here he is anyway to introduce the final challenge in a lazy New York accent.
Whoa, I'm old school, Andy. I'm like a vision from the past, here to drop some knowledge on the skaters of the present.
Okay, so let's tune in live and watch me beat the game. Yeah, not only do you not actually get to see the trick that it wanted me to do, but the concert is silent. Yes, I turned off the background music for the recording, but you would think the ending cinematic would still play. It's fine. I'm sure it's absolutely the worst. So that's backyard skateboarding. Is it the worst thing I've ever played? No, but I play the worst of the worst all the time, so that's not really saying much. Is there any reason to ever pick up this game? No, it's not good. It doesn't offer anything interesting or new. The only reason you might enjoy it is if you had it as a kid and you have good memories from playing it, then maybe. For everyone else, don't bother. Just let me take the bullet. I'll play the terrible stuff. You can just enjoy your life. You can be entertained for a few minutes of somebody else's suffering. And I think that's the agreement we have here anyway. So yeah, that's it for this time. Thanks for watching. I'll have more of this stuff on the way soon. Make sure you subscribe by tapping my logo in the middle of the screen. There's some more suggested videos in the sidebar, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.